All right, so today we're diving into something that I think touches every single one of us.
Yeah.
And that's conflict. How we deal with it.
Yeah.
Whether it's with a partner,
Right.
a friend, family member, coworker.
Absolutely.
I mean, disagreements are just part of life, aren't they?
They are. It's inevitable. You're going to have conflict with the people that you're in relationships with.
Yeah, and I think when we hear the word conflict,
Yeah.
we automatically think negative.
Mm-hmm.
But the material that you sent over
Yeah.
really emphasizes that.
Yeah.
It's not about whether or not you have conflict.
Right.
It's about how you handle it.
Exactly.
And that's what makes the difference between
Yeah.
a healthy relationship and one that's...
A healthy relationship and one that's going to be struggling, for sure.
Yeah, I was just thinking about,
Yeah.
I'm sure everyone listening has had this experience where,
Yeah.
you have a disagreement with someone
Right.
and it just escalates out of control.
Mm-hmm.
And you're both left wondering,
Totally.
how do we get
here?
here?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's what I'm really excited to dive into today.
You too.
Because the research that you've done and the material you've sent, it's really fascinating because it gets into the why of that escalation.
Literally, it happens.
Yeah. And more importantly, how to kind of steer those conversations in a more positive direction.
In a healthier way, absolutely.
And really the kind of the mission of today's deep dive is really to unravel the dynamics of conflict and to equip ourselves with some practical tools and strategies.
Yes. Give you some actual takeaways so that you can make a change and start to experience healthier conflict in your relationships.
Yeah, and move away from that kind of knee-jerk reaction of fighting or just like shutting down.
Right, or avoiding it altogether.
Okay, so the first thing that really stood out to me in the material you sent is that conflict in a relationship isn't necessarily a bad thing.
Right.
It's actually...
It can be a good thing.
It can be a good thing.
Yeah.
It's
a counterintuitive, isn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of counterintuitive. You think, oh, we're fighting. This is a sign that,
Yeah, this relationship is doomed.
This relationship is doomed.
Right.
But the research says, no.
It's not.
It's not.
Like, it's not.
And why is that?
Well, think about it this way. If you and your partner never fight, does that necessarily mean that everything is okay?
Right.
I mean, maybe you're just not talking about anything important.
Right.
Maybe you've just learned to avoid conflict altogether.
Right.
And that can actually be more damaging in the long run.
Yeah, because then there's this kind of resentment that builds up.
Resentment builds up. Yeah, you're not addressing the issues.
Right.
They're just festering under the surface.
Yeah, it's like that saying if you don't deal with it now, it's just you're gonna have to deal with it later.
It'll come back up in a bigger way later. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So conflict can actually be a sign that you care about the relationship.
Right.
That you're invested. That you're willing to fight for it.
That you're both individuals with your own
thoughts and feelings
and needs.
Yes, exactly.
And that's okay.
That's a good thing.
Right.
You don't want to be with a yes man.
Right.
You want to be with someone who challenges you.
Yeah.
Who has their own opinions.
Yeah.
And who's willing to
stand up for
what they believe in.
Right.
Even if it means having a disagreement with you.
So it's really about shifting our perspective from conflict is bad to conflict is an opportunity to grow.
To grow, to learn, to strengthen the relationship.
And to deepen the connection.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so we've established that conflict is normal.
Right.
It can even be healthy.
Yeah.
But let's talk about, what does it look like when it goes wrong, when it becomes
unhealthy
and actually damaging to the relationship.
Right, because not all conflict is created equal.
Right.
There's a difference between having a healthy debate and having a knockdown, drag-out fight.
Right, yeah.
So let's talk about...
What are those red flags?
Red flags.
Yeah.
What are the things we should be looking out for?
Okay, so the first one, and this is a big one, is blaming and shaming.
Ooh, yeah.
Using those you always or you never statements.
Right.
Those are so damaging.
Because as soon as you say those words, the other person just shuts down.
Yeah, they get defensive.
They're
not listening anymore.
Right. It's like...
They're just ready to fight back.
Yeah, it's like an attack. It is an attack.
And it's not
helpful. It just escalates things immediately.
Right.
So instead of blaming and shaming...
Yeah.
what's a healthier way to approach that?
We'll talk about that in a minute.
Okay.
But first, let's go through some of the other red flags.
Okay.
Because it's important to be aware of all of them.
Got it.
So the second one is bringing up the past.
Oh, yeah.
This is a classic.
This is my favorite.
You know, you're having an argument about something that happened today.
Yeah.
And suddenly,
all of a sudden, we're back.
You're like,
2019.
2019.
Right.
Why are you bringing that up?
Oh, it's so irrelevant.
It's completely irrelevant.
It's just a way to hurt the other person.
Yeah, and it just muddies the waters.
It does.
Of the current argument.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So stay focused on the present issue.
Right.
Don't bring up past grievances.
Okay, so blaming and shaming.
Mm-hmm.
Bringing up the past.
Right.
What else?
Number 3, yelling or giving the silent treatment.
Oh, yeah.
Two sides of the same coin.
Right.
Both are forms of emotional shutdown.
Yeah, one is
an explosion.
Yeah, outward, and the other is inward.
Inward.
Yeah, and it's interesting because neither one is actually addressing the issue.
Right.
Just
they're both ways of avoiding
the issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you find yourself yelling or shutting down completely, it's a sign that you need to take a break,
right,
calm down, and come back to the conversation when you're able to communicate more effectively.
That's a good point.
And then the final red flag is trying to win the argument.
Oh, interesting.
Because in a relationship, there are no winners and losers.
Right.
When you're focused on proving that you're right and your partner is wrong, you're both losing.
You're damaging the relationship.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's important to remember that the goal of conflict resolution is not to win.
Right.
It's to understand each other, to find a solution that works for both of you, and to strengthen the relationship.
And sometimes that means compromising.
Absolutely.
Right.
It's not about getting your way all the time.
It's about finding a solution that
works for both of you.
Works for both of you.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked about what not to do.
Yeah, what not to do.
Let's talk about
what to do.
Give me the goods.
Okay, so
I've got
5 steps for you.
Okay, I'm ready.
That you can start implementing today.
Okay.
To have healthier conflict in your relationships.
Okay.
The first one is to pause before you react. When you feel yourself getting triggered, take a breath.
Literally take a breath.
Literally take a breath.
Okay.
Step away from the situation if you need to.
Right.
And give yourself some time to calm down.
Yeah, because I think so often we just react.
We react
without thinking.
Emotionally.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's when we say things that we regret.
Yeah. And it just escalates.
It does. So that pause is so important.
And what if the other person's like, well, why are you walking away?
Right.
You know, what do you say?
You can say something like, you know, I'm feeling a little overwhelmed right now. I need to take a few minutes to calm down.
Yeah.
Can we talk about this in 20 minutes?
I love that.
Yeah.
Just setting that boundary.
Setting a boundary and letting them know that you're not abandoning the conversation.
Right.
You're just taking a break.
Yeah.
So that you can come back to it more level-headed.
Okay. So step 1, pause before you react.
Yes.
Step 2.
Use I statements. Ooh. This is huge.
Tell me more.
So instead of saying, you make me feel, which is blaming, you say, I feel.
Right.
So for example,
instead of saying you're always late, you could say, I feel frustrated when you're late.
I feel frustrated when you're late.
See the difference?
Oh, yeah.
It's subtle.
Yeah.
But it's powerful.
Yeah, because it's not accusatory.
It's not accusatory.
It's just stating.
It's stating your experience.
Your experience.
Yeah.
I love that.
And it's less likely to trigger defensiveness in the other person.
Right. Right, because when you say you're always late, it's like, well, no, I'm not.
Right.
I was on time that one time.
Exactly.
You know.
Yeah.
But if you say, I feel frustrated when you're late, it's like, oh.
Right.
Okay.
You're acknowledging their feelings without blaming them.
I can see how that would change the dynamic of the conversation.
It really does.
Yeah. Okay, so pause before you react. Use I statements.
Right.
What's number 3?
Number 3, stay on topic.
Oh.
We talked about this earlier.
Bringing up the past.
Yeah. Don't bring up past grievances.
Stay focused.
Stay focused on the present issue.
Right.
If you're arguing about the dishes, don't bring up that time 5 years ago when your partner forgot your anniversary.
Right. It's not relevant.
It's not relevant.
And it's just going to derail the conversation.
It will,
Yeah.
So stay on topic.
Okay.
Number 4.
Okay.
Listen to understand, not to win.
This is a big one.
This is a big one.
This is a big one because I think so often we're just waiting for our turn to speak.
We're not really listening.
We're not really listening.
We're just thinking about what we're going to say next.
Right.
And that's not helpful.
No.
Because if you're not really listening, you're not going to understand.
You're not going to understand the other person's perspective.
Right.
And you're not going to be able to find a solution that works for both of you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So really try to put yourself in the other person's shoes.
Right.
Ask clarifying questions.
Uh-huh.
Repeat back what you've heard to make sure you understand.
Right.
And just really try to see things from their point of view.
And there's that great question that the material highlights.
Yeah.
That you can ask.
What is it?
Which is, to be clear, you're saying that
yes.
when I do this, you feel this way.
Exactly.
And that just shows that you're really trying to...
You're engaged.
Understand.
You're listening.
Yeah.
You care.
Okay, so we've got pause before you react.
Mm-hmm.
Use I statements.
Right.
Stay on topic.
Yes.
Listen to understand.
Uh-huh.
What's number 5?
Number 5.
Okay.
Find the us solution.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
So instead of
me versus you.
Yeah. It's us.
Versus the problem.
Versus the problem.
Yeah.
We're a team.
Right.
We're in this together.
We're on the same side.
We're on the same side.
Yeah.
And we need to work together.
To find a solution.
Yeah. That works for both of us.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you sent over this
this
really interesting real life example of a couple, Jay and Mia.
Jay and Mia.
Can you just walk us through?
Yeah, sure.
What happened with them?
Okay, so Jay and Mia were having a lot of conflict.
Okay.
About quality time.
Okay.
Jay felt that Mia was always on her phone when they were together.
Oh, I see.
And Mia felt that Jay was too demanding of her time.
Okay.
So they were constantly arguing.
Right.
And it was starting to affect the relationship.
Classic.
So
one day,
they
decided to try something different.
Okay.
Instead of launching into an accusation, Jay said to Mia, I feel disconnected when we're together, but not really together.
Oh, I see.
Can we try having phone-free dinners?
Wow.
So he used an I statement.
He did.
He expressed his feelings, and he proposed a solution.
And Mia agreed to try it.
Okay.
And guess what?
What?
It worked.
It worked.
Their arguments decreased.
Right.
They started to feel more connected.
Wow.
And their relationship improved.
So just that one little shift of using an I statement.
And finding an us solution.
Changed everything.
You can make a big difference.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, so I love that example because it's so relatable.
Yeah.
Right? I think everyone's been there.
Yeah.
Where you're sitting there with someone.
Yeah.
And they're on their phone.
Right.
And you're like.
You feel ignored?
I feel ignored.
Yeah.
Like,
You're not even here.
Am I not even here?
Right.
You know? And it's so easy to just get. Resentful and angry.
Yeah.
But Jay's approach is just so brilliant.
It's so simple, but it's so effective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's not attacking.
Right.
It's just stating
how he feels.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's inviting Mia to be a part of the solution.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so one of the things that you said that I wrote down because I thought it was so powerful was that conflict without connection is just noise.
That's right.
And I thought that was so profound.
Oh, thank you.
Because it's true.
Yeah.
If
there's no foundation of love and respect
and trust then conflict is just going to be destructive.
It's just going to be two people
Yeah.
butting heads trying to win. Yeah. Yeah.
But when there is that connection,
right,
when there is that foundation,
then conflict can actually be an opportunity
to grow closer.
Yeah. To understand each other better, to build a stronger relationship.
So it's not about avoiding conflict. It's about
learning.
Approaching it.
How to do it.
In a healthy way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so what are some of the benefits
Yeah.
of handling conflict well?
Okay, so when you learn to handle conflict effectively, you increase honesty in the relationship.
Okay.
Because you're both more comfortable.
Yeah.
Expressing your true feelings and needs.
Right.
You also deepen intimacy because you're learning to navigate challenges together and you're seeing each other's vulnerabilities.
Yeah.
And you're coming out stronger on the other side.
Right.
And it improves communication overall.
Right, because you're actually talking.
You're
not just shutting down.
And you're listening to each other.
Yeah.
You're trying to understand each other.
You're learning how to communicate more effectively.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's really a win-win.
It is. It's a win-win.
And you do it right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just recap the main takeaways.
The main takeaways.
For today, conflict is normal.
Yes.
It's going to happen.
It's part of life.
It's part of every relationship.
Every relationship.
But it's how you handle it.
Right.
That matters.
That makes all the difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you learn to handle conflict effectively, it can actually strengthen your relationships.
It can bring you closer together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So next time you find yourself in a disagreement, remember to pause before you react.
Take a breath.
Use I statement.
Express your feelings.
Stay on topic.
Don't bring up the past.
Listen to understand.
Really try to see things from their point of view.
And find the us solution.
Work together as a team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This has been so insightful.
It's been a pleasure.
I feel like I've learned so much.
I'm glad to hear that.
And I hope our listeners have too.
Me too.
So as you're going about your day to day, and you inevitably encounter some conflict, just remember what we talked about.
The tools.
The tools.
The strategy.
The strategies. And see if you can approach it a little differently.
With a little more awareness.
With a little more awareness.
A little more compassion.
A little more compassion.
Yeah.
Yeah. And see what happens.
I think you'll be surprised.
I think so too.
At the results.
Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
And thanks for listening.
It's been fun.
To the Deep Dive.
Bye.